Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys and gals. Let me get a sip of my water first. Get my beautiful radio voice going and let's talk about this. All right, when it comes to trying to get our body composition where we want it, and by where we want it, I mean pretty lean to where you have abs. You know, we get into this topic of healthy fats versus carbohydrate versus all these other things. And I think a point that people miss here is that we have to look at what are we trying to do with our body fat at any given time. In other words, I'm big on healthy fats being added into our diet. However, they also have a lot of nutritional density. They also can have the potential to be stored as body fat, and they may not be quite as anabolic or as muscle sparing when in a calorie deficit as carbohydrates are. So kind of one of those things that I would point out to people when it comes to a lot of this, I don't think people, until they are at a body fat that they are happy with, should be adding much fat or particularly even extra healthy fats into your diet beyond just a minimal amount you need for health. And that's why I say that, is I think that they can have profound health benefits. I think it can have profound recovery benefits, but it's also in that case of when you can get away with eating a little more calories because you're not trying to actively lose scale weight. Okay? And what I generally will tell people, this is why I'm really big on high carb, lower fat diets, particularly really healthy, clean carbs. Okay? I think things like, a lot more of our white rice and other stuff is easier to add in when we're maintaining body weight. But if our goal is to really try to continue to get leaner and have any chance of recompositioning, of gaining any muscle, any strength while losing body fat, because that's going to give you the most ideal situation. I think that we need to be focused upon large amounts of carbohydrates, and they need to be healthy carbs, clean carbs that we would think of. Examples would be brown rice, oats, quinoa, any form of fruit, sweet potatoes. But yeah, any sort of fibrous vegetables, tubers in general, I'm a big fan of sweet potatoes these days. I think the nutrition profile is phenomenal. Not that white potatoes aren't great, by the way. I think they could fall in this category also. But these are all really high satiety carbs. It's very easy to stay full on them. And beyond a certain threshold, even protein is not going to be more muscle sparing. Once we get much, unless again, pointing out that if people are going to protein overfeed, that's a different strategy. So set that to the side. I'm not contradicting that. I'm saying that's a different strategy. It's a more expensive strategy. And some people may not feel as well on it just due to trying to burn so much protein for calories. Carbohydrates, you're generally going to feel a little bit better. You're generally going to have a little better energy. Again, the context being the quality of the carbohydrate and the other things that are in it, the amount of fiber, the vitamins, the minerals, things like that. So usually, if most people, they're still not happy with their body fat, let's forget the concept of bulking and cutting. Let's talk about getting to the body fat you want to be at and then trying to maximize muscle during that process and then maximize muscle after. If you're really going to do that, this approach works. I would say to a lot of people, keep fat as low as you can get away with. Make sure you've got just a little bit of essential fats in there. But the main thing is keeping your insulin sensitivity as high as possible. So again, that means even keeping things like saturated fat real low. Only the amount of fats that you need for health, a little bit of polyunsaturated fats. Your diet should be, and then enough protein, which is around 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight. But people should generally be hitting all those other types of carbs I mentioned. That is what you're going to want. Even beans, any form of fruit, any form of vegetable, any of that stuff is going to work as your primary calories. But if you do that, you're going to have a natural tendency to lose weight. If you're training, if you're lifting weights, you're going to have a tendency to lose weight doing that, but you're still going to have that large anabolic response from the insulin response of that. You're going to have all the glycogen storage, all the training fuel. It is going to help a person get leaner far, far more easily. And the evidence for this is pretty good over the years, and I know a lot of people like the ketogenic diets, but I'm telling you, this approach for most people will probably be more effective in the long run. You're probably going to feel better. Your health markers are going to be better. More importantly, you're going to preserve muscle tissue easier. That's the main take home. Okay. That is the main take home here. And in so doing this, this is going to work better. Now, what I will tell people is that as far as adding healthy fats in, because this is a conundrum we run into. I was like, wow, there's a lot of health benefits to adding the healthy fats in. Some walnuts, fatty fish, even nuts and seeds, right? All these things, and particularly our polyunsaturated fats, our whole foods ones. I'm not telling you to drink vegetable oil, or anyone jumps up and says that. I'm talking about whole food, healthy fats. Primarily polyunsaturated and to some extent monounsaturated. Yes, there's a lot of benefits, but they also will make it harder to lose body fat at an appreciable rate. Once you get relatively lean and you're at a body fat to where you go, I'm comfortable with this body fat. I'm not actively seeking to lose body fat. You might find it very easy to then incorporate these, get better workout recovery, because you're not necessarily reducing calories further when you're adding them in, are you? Because if you've been losing a bit of weight eating the others and then you add this a little more calorie density in the form of healthy fats, your calories are probably going to go up. But if you're not worried about the scale going down, or you're then saying, well, I don't mind a little bit, a small amount of weight gain at this point, you might find this sort of approach does allow for good recomposition because of the extra inflammation control, recovery. These sort of fats improving insulin resistance. There's data linking them to better overall body composition. But that's kind of my point, is that too many of these will make it more difficult to get into a calorie deficit, and it may not give you the optimal training fuel and anabolic signaling and response that you want. So that's why I'm rather reluctant to tell people, yeah, add a bunch of healthy fats in, unless you are not actively trying to lose weight. But again, if we're coming over saying, well, if I want to lose body fat, but I still want to have any potential to gain muscle or to preserve muscle as well as humanly possible, hitting that protein minimum and filling as many of your calories as possible with carbohydrates makes sense. And I know a lot of prep coaches, I know a lot of evidence-based prep coaches who get people ready for bodybuilding shows with that same concept in mind of keep your carbohydrates as high as you can get away with while in your deficit, while cutting down to really, really peeled. Okay, you're going to preserve muscle better, you're going to preserve metabolic rate better. Okay, you're going to preserve total energy turnover a lot better. And you're going to actually control your appetite a lot better. Again, assuming that's the form of carbohydrates that you are eating. High satiety ones. We're not telling you to eat junk food and processed stuff. Again, just a strategy that I would recommend for people. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative. And I will talk to you guys and gals next time.